this is it. Put up some sort of protection if you believe in that, and let's get into my very first experience. So the first time that I played a board was in 2019 after my husband and I moved into our first apartment. We had a friend come over with their boyfriend. I think this was the first time we'd ever met the boyfriend, but he was like, I brought a party favor, and it was a Ouija board. So I didn't want to play it in the apartment. We went out on the balcony and played it there. He did briefly, he was like, there's something on this board that talks to me sometimes. He goes by this name, and it's the entity that's attached to boards. He didn't really make much of a big deal of it. He was just like, every time I play, I get this guy, so we probably will talk to him. He's creepy. So we start playing. My husband didn't. He just sat there and watched. He was very religious, so he did not want anything to do with that. But we start playing. We get this guy. It's really weird energy. He starts answering things that no one else that was playing knew, and I got creeped out and we closed the session. And that was the last time that I played a Ouija board for a while, and it was the last time in that apartment. So we ended up only living in this apartment for 3 months, and I am not blaming the Ouija board on the bad luck that followed, but we ended up having to move out 3 months into our lease because of a bunch of stuff. And like I said, I'm not blaming it. I know it didn't help, but I am not blaming that. I'm not blaming it. But I am going to blame it on the paranormal things that happened in that apartment after, because we had not experienced a thing before that. There was this shadow figure that I'd be sitting in my living room and I would look straight ahead from my chair out on the balcony, and there would be this like dark shadow figure that was kind of hunched over, and he was usually in a crawl position, like on all fours, and he would just be staring into the like living room, and I would see him all the time. It was just such a prevalent thing, and I haven't seen him since, thankfully, but I saw him all the time in that apartment. So the two friends that I played the board with that night actually ended up breaking up, and my husband became best friends with the boyfriend, so he kept coming around, and he eventually actually started dating my brother's sister. So one night they were, hanging out, and he starts talking to all of us about how he misses playing the Ouija board so much because the board was his ex-girlfriend, so he didn't have it anymore. And my brother's sister actually ended up going and buying a board for him for his birthday, and on his birthday night, he brought it over and we played. So again, I was like, I don't want this in my house, but we can go out on the back porch and play it. We just kept getting this guy. Every time we played, we got this guy. And I don't know if I just got desensitized or what, but eventually I was like, you know what, we can just play it in the house. Because at this point, paranormal activity was happening in the apartment, but it was, nothing that I wasn't used to. It didn't seem like it was amping up when we started playing this board. So we brought it in, and things got a bit crazy after that. I digress. I'm not going to get into every paranormal thing that happened in my house because it was a lot, but I do want to talk about one night in particular when we got access to a very creepy abandoned house. For some reason, we thought, hey, we have access to this house, and this was a massive house. Like, when I tell you I got lost, I am being so serious. It was fully furnished, like someone had left it, it looked like someone had just decided to leave one day and left everything. And it was one of the creepiest houses I've ever been into in my life. It was so freaking heavy. So we're getting a tour of this house. It's like midnight one night, and I keep seeing this entity. It literally looks like the woman in black. I'm being so serious, but she looked younger. Like, long black dress and black veil, and she was just like in the rooms upstairs. So eventually I was like, we're not supposed to be upstairs. So we come downstairs and we go to the kitchen table, we get out the Ouija board, and we start playing. Now, the whole time we're playing, we keep hearing things moving around upstairs. Like, it is loud, so it sounds like something is stomping around upstairs. Also, I didn't mention, my husband is like not scared of anything. If you guys watch my content, he literally just doesn't get scared of paranormal stuff. And while we were playing the Ouija board, the board started spelling out my husband's name, like wanting him to play. And my husband out loud was like, I am not scared of you. I'm not playing the board. You are literally nothing. And he just kept saying stuff like this over and over. Light started flickering. Energy got heavy. Oh my God, my ear's ringing. Anyways, energy got heavy, and eventually the planchette lifted from all of our fingers and flew at my husband. Hit him in the chest. So all three of us that were playing, it was my husband's sister, her boyfriend, and me, we at the same time went, I need a second. So we got up together, literally hand in hand. I remember putting the planchette right beside the board. It's never a good idea to just leave it on the board. You're leaving a portal open. So I remember laying it beside the board, and we all got up together and took a lap around the downstairs. And we came back, and the planchette was laying on the ground, and we would have heard it fall. We did not. It was just on the ground. So it was literally a race to see who could get out of that house the fastest. It was terrifying. That is one of the scariest nights that I had ever had up until what's about to happen next. So after this, I did not play the board for a long time, and we actually stopped being friends with that guy who had the board, so I didn't have access to one anyways. But eventually I bought my own board, a little handmade spirit board that I love dearly. So the next time I played was with a new group of friends, and we had actually traveled out of town to go to one of their houses for a dinner. And one of our friends, like the house that we were at, speaks up and is like, hey, there is a very haunted house at the end of my road. My family used to have haunted house attractions in it. It's very creepy. You want to go there and play? So we do. We go in the house. She shows us around, and the upstairs is very heavy. Like, the only thing upstairs was like a bedroom, and I legitimately could not breathe in it. We go down to the living room, set up, and things just feel weird. We're getting answers. We're talking to this entity, and all of a sudden, my husband, who is not playing, he's sitting in the corner, jumps up and is like, we have to go. My husband doesn't get scared of things. He is terrified. That man's face was pale. We were all seeing like shadow figures and stuff. I don't know what my husband saw that night. He has never told me. He briefly said something about a little girl, but that is all he said, and I have never brought it up to him again. But after that experience, we did not play for a very, very long time. The next time I did play was with someone from that group. We actually went up to my family's farm, which is very haunted, and I will dish out all of those details on here very soon. But we actually went into the barn, and we started playing on TikTok Live. And something started happening. We started hearing knocking. We're talking to this entity, of course, because we always do. And the lights start flickering in the barn. And on top of that, I see a shadow figure. It's a very tall figure. I assume it's male. It gave him male energy with goat horns. I saw him standing behind my friend. We ended the session, and I did not play for almost a year after that because it traumatized the heck out of me. And I do have that footage, and I will insert it right now. The video was gone. End of story. What did you hear?
Did you hear it too, Justin? Mm-hmm. Tell me what you heard.
I heard
stomping.
Yeah, stomping.
Like, not. This is the best description I can describe what we just heard. It's literally like that scene in Jurassic Park with like the T-Rex stomping around. That's literally what it sounded like.
It was like
it's like stomping in the distance.
Wait, I saw something behind Justin.
Alright. Yeah, someone said they heard knocking just now.
Oh my god.
What the hell? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was. Okay, the ring light is actively messing up. Okay, this is getting hot.
Okay. I saw a full figure behind you.
Okay.
A full figure.
Okay.
And I saw horns. So
you saw horns?
I saw horns. I did.
Okay.
And the last story, you guys know, I've actually told the story time on here in full, and you have the entire footage on here if you want to see it. But basically, to sum it up, I will link both of those videos, but to sum it up, we had two friends that had never played a Ouija board before, and my husband, who also wanted to play, and I couldn't miss the opportunity. If my husband was going to play, I was going to do it too. So we go back up to my family's farm, go into an old house on that property, and some really wild things happened in that house. We got that entity, and it was one of the most intense sessions I have ever had. But I am gonna go ahead and close out this video. Thank you guys for watching.